There we go. I had to jump on it.
Yeah, like
there we go.
Okay, as you can see, there's a bit of pad right here, because this is the bracket. On this side, here's the bracket, but right there, there's no more pad. It's burnt right off. So that means that the inside of the rotor is scored. The inside. Yep, and there's a big lip on it. So next thing you know, you can just feel right here, you can feel a big lip right there, and it feels scored compared to this side, because there's still pad left on this, on the outside. This isn't scored, and the inside is definitely scored. Big ridge right there. And most times you can get these rotors turned at a garage and they cost $20, so you might as well for another $10 get new ones, because there's minimum amount that you can actually have to turn them. If they're worn too much, the garage will not turn them anyway. So next thing you know, we're going to take the calipers off. I'm taking the first caliper bolt off, and I'm using a 10mm socket. There's the first caliper bolt. Okay, we got it off now. Okay. Okay, I'll go right in. Can I get the light for a second, please? Do this in one take so I don't... Right over here. See, there's the front pad. Look how much there's left. Very little. It's worn sideways. As this back pad, there's nothing left on it. Metal to metal. So look at that. Nothing left. Which means your rotor is scored. And this one, there's a little bit left. Now we're going to back it up a bit here. Okay, good?
Perfect.
Okay, we're going to take the rotor out. And there's the back end of the rotor. It is definitely scored. You see the rings around there, and you feel the lip right there. This is the outside pad. This is the inside. On the outside pad, they got a squeak bar, but they don't have one on the inside, which they should, because it was the inside that wore right down, and now we have to buy new rotors. If they had most vehicles wear on the inside, and they don't have a squeak pad. And I'll show you this here. See, when your pads are wearing out, this squeak pad will rub up against the rotor, and you can tell that it's squeaking, so you know to change it. But the inside ones, which usually wear more, do not have a squeak pad, and the only way to know that is you can actually hear it. And if you hear it, change it right away before you have to buy new rotors. In this case, he's driven it too long, and it's metal on metal. Took the other side off. This is the outer pad, and that's the inner pad. This one's way worse. The inner pad is way worse on the passenger side. Look at that, metal to metal. Turn it around the other way. For sure. Now we're going to look at the rotor. it'll be worse scarred than the other one. I'll bring this out in the sunlight to show you. Oh yeah, that one definitely you can see the scar more. Got the pins. So with the pins, I have some brake lube, silicone brake lube you put on the pins. This is special grease for them. Next step, we're going to push the pistons back on the calipers. I got the C-clamp. I opened up the reservoir on the brake fluid because it's going to push the brake fluid back up. I just use an old pad to hold on the piston while I've got the C-clamp, and I'm going to position it. Now the reason why you push the piston back is to make room for the new pads that are going in, because they're a lot thicker than your old ones. And you turn it until the piston is pushed back in. Sure, you want to have a look while I'm doing this? Give it some light here. Here, give some light. Right there. See, it's pushing it back in, and at the same time,
Oh yeah.
just move this. At the same time I'm turning it, you see how the fluid's going back up into the reservoir? See that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to push out the pins, because they need greasing with this. It makes the calipers slide back and forth very easy. There's one. I'm going to push the grease into this side. And you see it's coming out the other side now. I'll give it a little bit more. Can you see that good on the camera?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Okay. I got the pin. What you want in there is you want grease all the time for it to slide properly, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if there's a hole in the rubber, you want to change that rubber, because you always want grease in here.
It can't be hammered in.
Well, I got to get it by the rubber first. Okay. Which, you know, working with gloves with grease on makes everything slippery. Okay, we're going to have excess coming out,
Yeah, there it is.
but that's okay. You just want to wipe that off, because you don't want grease on your new rotors. And pass me a rag from the other. Oh, here it is. Got a rag. Wipe it off a bit. We'll always have excess. Okay, there's a little keeper part on that steel that the rubber can't go past. Yeah, that's what it looks like, one, and I got, seeing it slides nice. Putting a bolt through and we'll see how much grease comes out too. I forgot. You see how the pin is scored a bit here? You want to file that down so it's smooth with the file. Or you can use a grinder. Okay, here's the new rotors. They're packaged in some sort of grease to preserve them so they don't rust. So we're spraying it with brake clean to clean all that grease off that was in the packaging. Here's the pads from this side, so you want to match them up so the squeak pad is in the same position, because it'll be reversed on the other side. So, the inner pads will be the same, but the outers won't. As you see, there's mind focus over there. See, the inside do not have squeak pads on them. So either side's good. And since this, can you see me right with that? Is it right on?
No, it is.
Okay. So we're matching up. See, this is for the other side. Can you see me in there now? Okay. This is for the driver's side. See the squeak pads on the same side, so that's where we're in. You can see right there that they're sitting inside of it. Okay, now I've got the top in there. Like that. The top's in. Now I can work on the bottom. You just tap it in with your hand. So it rests right in there. Once these 4 pins are level with the steel, your caliper pins will go in smoothly. Now, if the caliper pins don't go in smoothly, that means it's not aligned yet. And they won't thread into the they won't thread into the steel. But if you crawl underneath, you can actually see where it goes in. Okay, we got the tires back on. All the nuts are tight on the tires. I put the cap back on the master cylinder. Now you have to start the vehicle up and you have to pump the brakes until there's brakes. You can't just drive away because it's going to take a few pumps of the pedal to get pressure back in the brakes. Okay, Sherry, start the car. Now you can pump the brakes and you'll feel it going to the floor a few times and then it'll go solid again. Pump it like 3 times and it'll go solid. So we're going to try this in the garage. She's going to back up about 1 foot and then go forward a foot and try the brakes before we actually go out. And then we're going to recheck the reservoir. Yeah, go ahead. Not only the mask for paint, it's for COVID. Just taking a break. Have a look at what we're doing there. Yeah. I think it's coffee time. That's what I think. I think it's coffee time. You know how to operate such a unit? like that, or what? So